Hey, I just wanted to give an update on the Nissan Versa. So I've been driving it quite a bit as my daily driver. The original video, when I started doing that initial review, I had like 300 miles on it. Now, as you can see, I have like 5,500 miles on it. So I've gotten to know the car a little bit more than I did in the first video, and I just wanted to talk about some things. So as a correction, in the first video I mentioned the high beams couldn't be turned on manually. That's because I had the stock set to auto. If you change that to like a different one, you'll be able to turn the high beams on and off without issue. So that's a correction that I wanted to make, because I mentioned before that you couldn't do that. Well, you can, but if it's on auto and you try to turn your high beams on, they won't turn on. If you put it on, if it's on auto and you set it to like, hey, I want the high beams on, even though it doesn't show up, that's when it's kind of set to automatic, where the high beams will turn on if it's dark enough, and they'll turn off if it senses a car approaching. The other thing I wanted to talk about is that, and this is nice too, so like if the windshield wiper is going and you turn your car off, like as the windshield wiper is like mid up or down, it'll actually go all the way down. It won't just stop like in the middle when you turn your car off. Some cars don't do that, so I think that's worth mentioning. It's not like a huge deal, but it is kind of like a nice touch to have. The other thing I wanted to mention too is I love this steering wheel. It's really nice. It's not leather, but I think because of that, leather eventually wears down. Like your fingers are on it, you get all like your greasy hands on it, you get hand sanitizer on it, eventually it starts peeling after like, you know, like 5+ years or so. Not right away, but I feel like this steering wheel is gonna last a lot longer. And it still has like a nice grip to it. I don't think the steering wheels have to be leather. Sure, I guess they kind of feel nice, but so does this. And you can't see it, I'll add some pictures to it, but they do have like finger grooves here all around behind the steering wheel. So like as you're holding the steering wheel like this, your fingers actually like rest inside grooves, which gives it like an even more comfortable grip on it. The steering wheel is also really sensitive. Like you turn it like a little bit and it kicks in. There isn't like a lot of dead zone in the wheel, so as soon as you start turning, like your car is going to respond to that. My SUV is not like that. There's a little bit of play where like you can move the wheel a little bit and kind of like nothing happens, which can be good or bad, because like if you're on like a really bumpy road or something, you want to keep going straight, any kind of like adjusting of the wheel isn't going to turn your car at all. But you know, like you can let go of this car on the highway or whatever, and it'll maintain a straight course, so I don't think that's a big deal. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. As far as like being on the highway, this car is definitely competent. You definitely, like, you can't take an exit in 5th gear unless you're just already flying down the exit, which is probably not, you know, feasible or safe. But if you start in 4th and you rev it up to like 4.5 or something, you're good to go. And sometimes you don't even need to do that at all. It depends on traffic. I don't think there was anything else. I wrote down a bunch of stuff. Yeah, you can start in 2nd gear in this car if you want to. Sometimes it's good if you're on like a flat surface and you start in 2nd. It's completely fine. I wouldn't do it if you're on like an incline or anything like that. A decline is even better, because you can definitely start in 1st, but either 1st or 2nd's fine. But if you, like I said, if you're on a flat surface, you can start in 1st, no problem. The front door, when you turn the car off and you take the keys out, it unlocks the front door for you automatically, which is nice, but it doesn't unlock any of the passenger doors. And one thing I noticed, like whenever I have other people getting in the car, like I have to put the key in, I have to unlock the door, I have to open it, and then I have to hit the unlock button so that they can get in, unless like they have their own key or something, which not many people are gonna have. So that was kind of like a little bit annoying or whatever, but you know, nothing about this car is going to be perfect for the price. You sort of have to take, you know, what it comes. I think the last thing I want to mention too, a couple things actually. One, the Versa sales are up now, so the Versa is doing really well compared to last year, so I don't know if they're going to discontinue it. I know the only competition for this car, the Mitsubishi Mirage, was canceled, so they're not making any more of those. So this is literally like the last subcompact car that you can buy in America. There used to be the Mirage, now that's gone, it's done, because I don't know, they just wasn't selling enough or whatever. But you know, Nissan as a whole, they're not doing well. They're not moving as many cars, even like their Frontiers and stuff, like their, you know, their primary meat and potatoes type of cars that they sell, they're still not selling well. And that just has to do a lot with like the market and stuff like that. But I really like this car. I've had no I've had no issues with it at all. I just got my oil change done for the first time, and they actually had a deal where if you pre-buy your oil changes, then it actually comes out to like $40 in oil change, which is really nice. So like downshifting, there's no problem in this car. You can go from like 5th to 2nd if you wanted to. It's really easy to shift. The clutch catches really high, so it does take a little bit of getting used to. And I think the last thing I want to mention is that this does have an automatic incline or decline braking. So like some cars, they'll have it where if you're on an incline to like a certain degree and you let go of the brake, you're not going to roll back. This car has that, so you can activate that with 2 conditions. The first condition is you have to be on a steep enough incline. Now I don't know what the degrees are. If it's like a slight rollback, it's not going to kick in. But if you're on a hill, say more than like, I don't know, I'm just guessing, but say like more than like 25 or 30 degrees at an incline or a decline, and you hold your foot down on the clutch all the way and you put your foot on the brake, when you take your foot off the brake, it's going to keep your car in park, which is pretty cool, I guess. There's no way to turn it off, so and if you don't want to do it, I guess you just, you know, you go real quick with the clutch, quick with the clutch. God, I can speak. And you should be able to avoid that. Sometimes I like to feel the car itself, so I know when to shift more than like the clutch. So I kind of get that based on like where it catches, and when you're parked in that park mode, you don't really get it all the time. It's not gonna like cause you to stall, but it just makes it a little bit trickier to find out like where that catch is. But that if you're like someone who has like a ton of anxiety about, you know, being in a manual transmission and like rolling back and hitting a car and like a steep hill, you're solved with this, which is good, especially for like, you know, they don't advertise it as like a feature as far as anywhere I could find it. Just kind of noticed it when I was driving one day. So it does have that. Maybe if you guys care, I'll do like a driving video of this, because even though this car is slow, you got to consider that like any object that moves between like 40, 60, 70 miles an hour or whatever, that's fast. Like just because it takes a car, you know, 10 seconds to get to 60, or it takes another car, you know, 2 seconds to get to 60, you're still getting to 60, and 60 is still fast. So like this car, even though it has slow acceleration, like it can be a fast car, especially if you high rev and shift fast. And it does seem like it's actually pretty quick. So especially, you know, especially if you're on like the back roads and stuff where there's a lot of small twists and stuff where everything seems faster. So I have some of those here. If you guys care enough, if I release this video and like people are in the comments are like, hey, I'd like to see a driving video, I'll take this car out and actually like, you know, drive it to see like how it performs and how it shifts and everything like that, and sort of get like a real world performance of it, aside from, you know, just me doing my commute here, because this is just casual driving. So I think that's all I have to say about the car. You know, like I've had it for a while. It's got all my work stuff in here, so it's kind of like lived in a little bit, a little messy, but I really like it. I've been driving it every day. I take maybe my other car out like once every 2 weeks, just so it doesn't sit there, or I let my friends use it or something. But yeah, so I think that's all I have to say. If there is anything else you want to talk about, or like I said, if you want to see me do like a driving video, just let me know below. Thanks.